The cold that evening was the kind that didn't just bite the skin. It settled deep into the bones and refused to leave. Snow fell softly, almost beautifully, but for the woman sitting on the edge of the sidewalk in a thin red dress, beauty had long stopped meaning comfort. Her legs were pulled close to her chest, arms wrapped tight, as if she could hold herself together through sheer will. Her eyes were red, not just from the cold, but from hours of silent crying. She had nowhere to go, nowhere to hide, and no one left who was supposed to care. Just another night of surviving, another night of being invisible. If you believe that small moments of kindness can change a life, if you believe in second chances and the power of humanity, take a moment right now to like this video, share it, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this exist because kindness still exists even when the world feels cold. She hadn't always been there. Once she had a warm apartment with a yellow lamp by the window and a job that barely paid the bills but gave her purpose. Once she had dreams that felt reachable and mornings that didn't start with fear. But life has a way of collapsing all at once. One missed paycheck became two. One argument turned into silence. One eviction notice erased years of effort. Friends slowly disappeared when she stopped being okay. Shelters were full. Pride kept her from asking too much. And so she learned the language of the streets, the way people avoided eye contact, the way hope could shrink into something you kept hidden just to survive. That evening, she had reached a breaking point. Her hands shook, her breath came shallow, and the weight of loneliness pressed harder than the cold pavement beneath her. She stared at the ground, tracing cracks in the concrete with tired eyes, wondering how someone could fall so far without making a sound. That was when she noticed small boots stopping in front of her. She looked up slowly, expecting judgment or curiosity, maybe even fear. Instead, she saw a little girl standing there, arms open wide, snowflakes settling in her curly hair. The child's jacket was warm, her face pink from the cold, but her eyes held something far warmer than the world around them. For a moment, time seemed to pause. The woman didn't hear the city anymore. She didn't feel the cold. All she felt was confusion, disbelief, and a sharp ache in her chest that threatened to break her completely. The little girl didn't hesitate. She stood there as if the answer was obvious, as if love didn't need permission. Behind her, a man stopped abruptly, his face tightening with concern as he realized where his daughter had wandered. He watched closely, ready to step in, but something about the stillness of the moment made him wait. The woman felt something she hadn't felt in years, seen not as a problem, not as a burden, not as someone to walk around. Seen as a human being who was hurting. The child's presence cracked open a wall she had built brick by brick to survive. Tears spilled freely now, no longer held back by pride or shame. She pressed her hand to her face, embarrassed by how much it hurt to be noticed. The little girl stepped closer, her small arms still open, her body language filled with simple certainty, and in that moment the woman understood something profound. This child didn't see homelessness. She didn't see failure. She didn't see a woman who had lost everything. She saw someone who looked like they needed comfort, nothing more, nothing less. When the woman finally allowed herself to lean forward, the hug that followed was quiet and gentle, but it carried the weight of years of loneliness. It was not dramatic or loud, but it was life-altering. The woman's body trembled as if releasing grief it had stored for far too long. For the first time in a long time, she felt safe, even if only for a few seconds. The man behind the child watched with tears in his own eyes. He had almost pulled his daughter back, worried about danger, about boundaries, about the world he knew could be cruel. But standing there, he realized that sometimes the world is healed not by caution, but by courage. He stepped forward slowly, offering his coat, then his help, then his time. That night did not magically fix everything. The woman did not suddenly have a home or a job waiting for her, but something had changed inside her. She was reminded that she mattered, that she was still worthy of kindness, that she was not invisible even when life had stripped her of everything else. In the days that followed, the man helped her connect with local resources, shelters that had space, programs she didn't know existed. He checked in on her, not as a savior, but as someone who remembered her humanity. And the woman, fueled by that one small moment of compassion, found strength she thought she had lost forever. She started showing up again. She started believing again. Recovery was slow. Some days were harder than others. Some nights still ended in tears, but she carried that hug with her like a shield against despair. Whenever doubt crept in, she remembered the warmth of those small arms, the certainty of that innocent kindness, and the way it reminded her she was still alive. Months later, she stood on her own feet again. A small room, a steady job, a second-hand coat that actually kept her warm. She passed that same street often, sometimes stopping to watch families walk by, children laughing, parents distracted by phones and worries. She smiled now, not with sadness, but with gratitude, because she knew how fragile hope could be and how powerful it was when someone chose to give it freely. If this story touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps keep stories like this alive. Before this story ends, we have a special request for you. Please comment below with one small act of kindness you believe can change someone's life. Your words might inspire someone more than you realize. Some people change the world with money, power, or fame. Others do it with open arms and a fearless heart. That little girl may never remember that night in detail, but the woman she hugged will remember it for the rest of her life. Because sometimes the smallest kindness arrives exactly when someone is on the edge of disappearing, and sometimes a simple hug is enough to remind a broken soul that it still belongs in this world.